Hey, just a quick heads up. Content here may not appeal to everyone. If you don't resonate with what's shared here today, that's okay. We all have our own journey in life, so please respect our shit and we'll respect yours.
Hello, welcome back to the Own Your Own Shit show, and we're both really excited to see you again. I'm Lisa from Beyond Balance. I'm a nurse, massage therapist, and a mind-body connection coach, and I help women release stress in their mind and their body.
And I'm Andrea Coulter, and I'm a doctor of medical healthist, and I'm the creator of a system called the achey healing system, which is designed to help you release your thoughts and your emotions, your beliefs that are all affecting your physical body in a safe, effective, natural way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So last week we were talking about ingestion, and that was everything related to your mouth and cravings and what you put into your mouth. And this week we're going to talk about digestion.
Yeah. About once you've got it in your mouth and you've swallowed it successfully, how it is affecting your stomach and why your stomach goes off. Because again, I don't know about you, but I know I have a lot of clients who that's where they feel everything is in their stomach. Yes. I know when I'm not feeling well because my stomach is off.
Yeah, right? And that's how I feel too. I get I call it my little fire pit in my stomach, and that's if I'm really stressed out or overwhelmed or not sleeping or, different various kinds of things, and it feels like just a lot of acid in there. But what actually happens too, we were talking about this before, is when you're feeling that way or when I'm feeling that way, my posture is all off. So my shoulders come forward, and I'm really just trying to protect this area of my stomach. And then I don't feel confident anymore, and I'm not really speaking my truth. And so doing some energy work or meditation and drinking lots of water and just decompressing has really helped release that posture and all of that acid in my stomach. So that's been very helpful.
Yeah, I can't remember where I read it once that your digestive system, and in particular your stomach, is the second brain of your body. Yeah, cool. I can't remember where. Sometimes you get these things and you remember them, but you have no idea where I got that from.
Well, but actually, interestingly enough, that reminds me that your serotonin is produced in your digestive system, which is the feel-good hormone, which helps your brain feel good too. So.
There you go.
Total sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look, we just figured out.
I know. And actually, that's what I was. So, can I share the story about Jesse? Would this be good?
Definitely,
okay.
Yeah.
So, I have a story that I was going to share about my son. So he's in his 20s now, but I remember when he was in grade 4, he went in through this episode where he started with, didn't want to go to school on a Monday. My stomach is a little bit stuff. I don't feel well. I'm like, okay, you can stay home, right? And then the next day he went to school, and then a couple days, and then a couple days later, I don't really feel well again. And this went on for about 3 weeks, off and on and off and on. And I'm thinking, what is he fighting? Like, and I'm trying remedies and, foods, and we're being very careful. And then about 3 weeks in, it happened again on a Monday, and then the next day he didn't want to go to school, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? Like, and he hadn't been throwing up or anything, just I don't feel well and really emotional. And my mother intuition was kind of going, there's something else going on here, right? Yeah. So on the third morning, I went in to get him up, and he looked at me, and he was like, no, I'm not really feeling well. So I sat down beside the bed, and I looked at him. I'm like, all right, dude, what's going on? And he's like, what do you mean, what's going on? And I'm like, this isn't you've eaten something wrong, or there's a virus going around or something. What emotionally or psychologically is going on at school that you don't want to face? And he started to cry. Oh yeah, the tears just started like falling down his face, and I'm like, dude, what's going on? Like, what's going on? And he looked at me and he goes, there's these boys that are kind of picking on me. And so he was being bullied at school, and he didn't want to tell us about it because, well, I'm the classic mama bear. So you mess with my kids, you're freaking messing with me.
Watch out.
Absolutely. And they know that. I am super protective of my family. And he goes, and I didn't want, I don't want you to go in and say something. I just, I just want it to go away. And I'm like, dude, it's not going to go away on its own. You do have to address this. However, I'm not going to address it, but I'm going to coach you, and you're going to step into your own power, and you're going to address this on your own.
That's awesome. He's owning his own shit.
Exactly. Way back then. Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so he gave him some choices and some ways to deal with it. Just the fact that we talked about it, and he realized that we had his back, and that he could do this, and that he didn't need to be pushed around by these boys, that was all he needed. He went to school that day, and he felt confident about himself, and I think he had words. Yeah, exactly.
Good.
And you know what? We didn't have that episode ever again.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so
Wow.
I really wanted to share that story, because I think a lot of people go through these issues. And
For
again,
sure.
if it wasn't for me being in the practice that I do and being attentive to these things, it might have taken a really long time for us to recognize that that's why he was having stomach issues.
And then maybe you would have seen a doctor, and then another doctor, and another doctor.
And on some medications that
Right.
were making things even worse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ah, that's so good. I love that.
Yeah.
I was even thinking with that story too that a lot of empaths, like myself, pick up on different energies, and I feel it in my stomach.
Yeah.
So if I'm, it's not my issue, but sometimes I'll feel like I have an upset stomach because of someone else who's just walked into the room, and they have a very fiery energy, and all of a sudden my stomach's on fire, and I think, I've done nothing different. Like, how is that supposed to be me?
Yeah.
But it's somebody else. It's someone else's energy. So even just thinking about that, it might not actually be a physical problem. It's just someone else's stuff coming at you.
Exactly.
Someone else's shit.
Exactly. Being thrown at me. And so it is good for empaths to really kind of honor, to be aware that, okay, this isn't my shit.
No.
And I can empathize, and I can relate, and I can feel for you and help you through this, but I'm not going to own it. I'm not going to take it on and absorb it. Right? Again, digestion is all about absorbing and assimilating and, taking everything in from the external world into the internal and making it our own. Right?
For sure.
And so how are you going to own that?
Yeah.
Right? One of the other things with digestion that is a big one is nausea is one, which of course relates to the liver and the gallbladder and things not being processed properly and things like that. Okay, which we're going to go into liver gallbladder in another episode, because there's a whole lot there again with liver gallbladder stuff. But nausea in and of itself, the way I see it is when people are feeling very insecure and feeling very unsettled in life, and just, again, it's that whole kind of overwhelm, dizziness, vertigo is overwhelm too. Again, it kind of often relates with nausea, because you get dizzy and then you feel nauseous. It's a whole core, but often it is like Meniere's disease is really just overwhelm. Like you've taken on so much in your life, and there's so much going on, you can't process it.
Yeah, for sure.
And so everything's just on kind of overload and shut down, right? So if you're struggling with vertigo or nausea on a chronic kind of basis, and you're even acutely, like in an episode of a day, unless you kind of overloaded, on really bad, unhealthy, fatty food, and you've thrown your liver gallbladder off, okay, I get it. Sometimes shit just does happen.
That's right. Yeah, can't help it.
But if it's not, and you're thinking, what the hell? Like, why am I feeling this way? Maybe you're taking on too much in life that you shouldn't be taking on, and you're feeling really overwhelmed by it. So think about that.
Trying to digest too much.
Exactly. And your body says, no, can't do it.
That's true.
Yeah.
Huh, that's interesting.
Which then leads to vomiting.
Nobody likes that.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
What's funny is, I always find either some families go through where every little thing triggers vomiting. And I talk about with my practice, a lot of times when I'm working with clients and we're doing some big, deep inner trauma releasing with remedies, at about that 2-week cycle when the body has kind of battled this state and then has to find its own equilibrium, is when the body will throw out stuff, literally. So sometimes I'll get calls from clients at that 2-week period after we've worked with remedies, and they'll be like, all of a sudden I'm really sick. And I'm like, what is it? It's the healing crisis. Is the body trying to find its rebalance, trying to find its homeostasis, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in a need, it may have to purge itself to do that.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah, like a detox.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes that's really all it is. If it's like a 24-hour thing, you know, which is not the stomach flu.
Rant alert.
Yeah, exactly. Already done this. It's so funny because my kids know whenever they'll have friends over and they're like, oh, I was sick on the weekend, I had the stomach flu. And my kids will like turn and look at me. Yeah, because they know I'm going to go into this. And I try not to anymore. I let them just believe that's what they believe. But I'm just going to do a little rant here that there is no such thing as a stomach flu. Influenza is an upper respiratory, bronchial, lung infection. However, stomach stuff is a whole nother ballgame. It could be a virus. There are enteroviruses that do trigger it.
Yep.
Oftentimes, it's 9 times out of 10, it's always a bacterial infection caused from food. So it's usually food poisoning. Mm-hmm. And, you know, even, as you say, in either households, they all get it. And so if it happens all at the same time, like the next day, then it's food poisoning for sure. Because you've all ingested something that had it. If it comes in stages, then it's probably an enterovirus that, because again, a virus can get picked up and one person has, you know, the stomach flu one day, and then a couple days go by and then, oh, the next person has the stomach flu. Sorry, that really drives me crazy. But when it does that cycling thing, then it's generally a virus that's just kind of running through rapidly through the house. But it's usually a quick 24-hour, 48-hour kind of thing, and then it's done, right? Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to say that please stop calling it the stomach flu because it's not the stomach flu. I know it's a make easy word to say, but
yeah, and some people just don't know, too. Exactly. Being a nurse, I remember learning that, too, that, you know, the influenza is the upper respiratory, and then we would call it gastroenteritis. So that was all of the lower purging. Exactly. If you will.
Exactly. Yeah, and for sure. And stomach upsets generally, like with my son, usually they're emotional based. Yeah. Again, it's like the stomach is the emotional brain of the body.
Yeah.
Right? So always think of it that way.
Yeah.
Right? And so, you know, if you're not feeding it physically properly, then of course it's going to rebel.
Yeah.
You know, and if you're not feeding it mentally, emotionally appropriately, it's going to rebel.
Exactly.
So, you know, we are always going to find stuff come up with stomach. But I find it's the lesser of all the evils, and it's the most obvious one that we feel. Yeah. Like when our liver is maybe off, or our gallbladder is off, or our spleen is off, or our pancreas is off, we don't really feel it physically.
No.
Right? It's not down there pulsating outside your body going, hey!
I'm trying to get out of here.
That's right. But the stomach does.
Yeah.
Right? We do feel the stomach. So it's almost like everything else feeds into the stomach, and the stomach goes, I'm not happy, so you're not going to be happy.
Yeah, and socially, that's not nice.
No.
To have to throw up somewhere.
No, exactly.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, again, when things are coming up in your body and you're having reactions, you can simply look at it as, shit happens, it's a physical thing. Or you can take the time and really divulge and maybe consciously look into why it's happening for you.
Yeah.
Because I find in my own healing journey, which has been going on for a really long time, and it never ends, and that's what I kind of like about it, is that we're here to learn and experience life, right? And to learn about ourselves.
Yeah, it's all different.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So what I wanted to say is that, you know, being conscious about how things are affecting you, and then actually just the fact that you've been aware of it and are conscious of it will actually diminish it, right?
Yeah, that's
Do you ever find
true.
that?
That is true.
Is that the more attentive we are to it, the less it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then eventually it just filters off because you've learned that kind of life lesson or whatever it is you needed to experience and go through with that issue. You've participated it in a conscious way. Mm-hmm.
Instead of just ignoring it or taking a pill that's going to reduce the symptoms instead of actually treat the cause. So that's
Which is, yeah, which is our big thing, right?
Exactly.
We are both absolutely, whether you're into it or not, we both believe that if you address the causation of these issues, they will go away for good. Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. Not that you're going to be perfect, and this was the one thing that when I got into doing all this natural stuff, way back then I was going to save the world, save my family, save all these wonderful, which I realized I can only save myself. So thank you so much for joining us today in our conversation about how your thoughts and your emotions actually affect your physical body, and hopefully found some ways that you can rectify some of the health issues that you're struggling with, and in particular about the stomach and all the different ways that your stomach, as we said, is the brain of your body, and how your emotions are really affecting your stomach, and taking some time to be attentive to how it's talking back to you. So yeah, and if you like what you're hearing here, we hope you subscribe and stick around to hear more of these conversations that we're having. So do that, and then leave some comments. We want to know, what do you think? Did what we say today jive? Did it make any sense? Did it stir up something in you that you maybe think, well, I wonder about this? If you have something you're interested in hearing about that we haven't discussed, definitely, drop us a line. You'll get our email in the next images, and contact us and let us know. We'll be happy to do a show about that.
Yeah, thanks so much for watching.
Bye!
Don't forget to connect with us on your favorite social media sites so you can share your whole healthcare woes, wins, and other shit you'd like to discuss with us.
So last week we were talking about
ingestion. What were we talking about last week?
so long ago.
Really a long time ago. Life is busy.
We need to take a little dance.
Yeah, something. Do you want me to do the ending?
Yes, it is.
I completely lost my train of thought, so we're going to have to cut that out.
What happened? You're on a good flow.
I was. What the hell were we just talking about?
What were we just talking about?
Shit.
I
like your little poo emoji over there. You should actually have it sitting here. Right in the middle of the movie, we'll be, do you see the difference? I love it. Okay, now we're going to have to wait a while. Crap!